Hello. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for giving me some time. I know I haven't put up like any videos really recently in the last like 2 weeks. Kind of have just stopped a little bit, and I did really need that time to kind of figure my shit out. As you guys know, Joey and I broke up and I had to move out. This is my new apartment. This is where I live. And that was a lot. It was a lot. So it was a lot to like keep working and like doing the things I need to do, running the companies, and then also move. And it's very different when you move out, and it's not like exciting. It's like kind of, you have to pack up all your shit in the place that you lived with someone. It's just a lot. So I just needed some time to not make videos, so thank you. And as you can see by the title of this video, it is how to get over a breakup, and this has been on my list to do for so long, and now I feel like it's super fitting to do, especially because like I think my perspective on breakups has changed since going through this one. And I think that every breakup is so different, and I think that's what I learned in this breakup, is that I used to think breakups were all the same. I've been through my fair share, but I think like every relationship is different, so every breakup is different. And as you get older, breakups are very different. Like it's just such a different experience each time. And I think that this breakup for me was very different. And how many times can I say different? But I just want to go through some tips on things that I do to get over a breakup, because I have been getting a lot of messages that a lot of you are also going through this, and I just wanted to kind of sit down and talk to you. I have some things written out, but we're just gonna have a conversation. The first tip, which I think is the tip on every list, is take your time to grieve. This is a loss. No matter what happens, losing someone that you spent so much time with is very difficult, and the change in routine is really hard. So just take whatever time you need to like be upset, and don't feel too guilty, or just let it flow the way it flows. Like maybe you don't feel upset the day it happens, or the day after it happens, the week it happens, but maybe you feel upset a bit later, and that's okay. Whatever feelings come to you, that's totally fine. But take whatever time you need to grieve. It's totally chill to be sad, and like if you need to cry. I remember I was sitting in Banff on a Revolve trip, like literally in the middle of Banff, tears just coming out of my face, and it had been like 2 weeks after we broke up, and I just like couldn't get my shit together, and that's like when it happened, and that was okay. And Sasha just let me be sad. We worked through that, but that was a really hard weekend for me. So it might come at a different time, might come at a really inconvenient time, but just allow yourself to be sad, because it's obviously okay. It's a loss, and it's like you're changing your routine. My second tip is to start filling your schedule. It is very nice to be busy and to be preoccupied with work or school or whatever you have going on. It does take your mind off of it. I found when I had downtime was when I was like thinking about it and all that stuff. So start filling your schedule, making sure that you have, you know, things to do, people to see, and making sure that you're busy. Number 3 is about social media. Normally before I would have said block on social, like not block, but like delete on social media, unfollow. But now that Instagram has the hide tool, I don't think you need to like unfollow them. It's up to you, but I think hiding is definitely the best move, and then not creeping them. And I think when you hide them, you kind of like forget to like look at their stuff, and then eventually you'll just like stop doing it. But what I like about the hide tool is if you do want to look, you can like be mentally prepared and like go and look at what they're doing. But I do recommend you like just don't look. It's hard, and I think seeing what, again, Instagram is like a highlight reel, and you know that, and seeing what that person is doing, and I feel like sometimes your brain can be like, oh, they're totally fine, when like you actually don't know how they are. Don't look, don't put yourself through that. Give yourself like, be like, I'm not gonna look for a month, or I'm not gonna look for 2 weeks. Just give yourself that time, be fair to yourself. It's gonna make it harder for you, and it's gonna prolong the process of getting over if you're just like constantly putting their social in front of your eyes. If you find that you like really can't handle it, I think you should definitely unfollow and or delete them off your social. That is not to say that you cannot be friends. I am friends with all of my exes, all of them. And I think once you get over them, you can totally follow back and like have a friendship, but during the time where you're actually like feeling it and grieving and going through it, I think, you know, it's best not to look or to unfollow. And then to go with that, try not to talk to the person and or see the person. This one I know is really difficult, and that's I think something that I learned in this specific breakup, is that you can't sometimes just not talk. Joey and I shared an apartment. We had a lot of shared things. So we end up talking. We do still talk a lot. And that can make it harder. But I do understand that it's not just like, not every relationship can be a clean break. I think when you're younger, in high school, even in university, like you can cut it and then you just don't have to talk at all. And that makes it really easy. But I know that relationships get more complicated as you get older, and that's just like not a realistic thing to just not talk. But I think, you know, not for me, like not talking on the phone. I kept our conversations to like mostly texting, and then Joey and I were really good at trying not to see each other, so that it was hard to see him. Sometimes obviously we'd see each other at the house, but it definitely made it harder to see him. So I think trying to like not see them and not talk to them is key. Number 5 is something that I learned, and it really helped me kind of like process breakup. When I was younger, I felt like a really big loss when I lost someone. When I like went through a breakup, I felt as if like my world was ending. And I know I had said this before in another video, but like I did try to keep myself in that relationship so that if it ever did end, I wasn't super lost. Like I had my friends, I had hobbies, I had things to do, and I felt complete as my own person. And that did make this breakup easier because I didn't feel like my whole world had just been ripped out of my hands. And a lesson I think I learned pretty recently is everything in life is temporary, the good and the bad. It's just all temporary. And when you learn that, and you learn that like it's not just like nothing is final other than death, but who knows. But nothing is final, and that just gives me like a sense of comfort, you know, like who knows, Joey and I may get back together in the future, but we might not. And that's okay either way. But just having the like, nothing is just set in stone and nothing is final, you never know what's coming, I think gives me like a huge sense of comfort. My number 6 tip is talk about it if you need to. I definitely used my friends and talked to them about what was going on leading up to a breakup and after. They were an amazing support system and support group for me. My parents are also amazing. And then, you know, if you feel like you need to, or you have a therapist, like talk to your therapist about it. But also if you feel like you are really struggling and like you don't have the tools to get over it, or you don't have the tools to cope with what's going on, seek out therapy. I think there are a lot of great resources online that can help you, even like an online chat, because sometimes it can be really easy. There's like BetterHelp, this is not sponsored, but there's a ton of like online therapy, and then there are a lot of great resources in, you know, Canada. I don't think there's enough, but I think seeking someone to talk about what you're going through if you are really struggling is definitely super important, because even though, you know, I'm saying that it's not the end and everything in life is temporary, you may not feel that, and it can be really difficult for you. So I think seeking someone, if you know your friends don't know how to handle it, or whatever it is, maybe you don't have that support system, I think having someone to talk to is really important. Number 7 is try a new hobby. This seems so lame, but I'm not kidding. It is so good. When we broke up, I picked up playing the piano again because I hadn't played in like 15 years. It's been a while. Literally can't play at all anymore. But I like picked a song, I picked a hard song, I picked Claire de Lune, and I just learned it, and like that's what I was doing every night. And that gave me such like, I wasn't coming home and like watching sad movies or like by myself in our apartment where like all of Joey was like around me. I like would plug in my keyboard and I would learn this song, and having that hobby gave me just like something to do. It was fun, it was something I was like improving myself. It was just great. So like find a hobby, find something that you like to do, maybe like something you used to do maybe before you were in the relationship or whatever, and start doing that again. It'll not only fill up your schedule, but you're doing something to improve you, which is great. Number 8, again, something that really helped me is going out. I'm not saying go and get fucked up and drink and whatever, but go out and like hang out with people. And I went out for dinner with my friends a lot, and like or I'd just go to a bar and like have a glass of wine with a friend. I'd meet new people. It's better than staying home alone. Being around people. This man is on the street looking at my apartment, watching me film. It's better than sitting at home alone, feeling upset and like crying. I just like did a bunch of things that I normally wouldn't do. I was a huge yes man, you know? Like I remember one Sunday right after we broke up, I went to spin with Alana in the morning. I don't spin, but I was like, yes, I'm gonna go to spin with her. The night before that, I was with like, you know, some people that weren't necessarily my close friends, but I just said yes and I went out with them. Then we went to spin in the morning, and then I went and had brunch with a bunch of different friends, and I just filled my schedule with seeing different groups of people. Even if I didn't feel the most comfortable with like going out by myself with these new people, I just did it because I was like, I want to make new friends. I want to like have new experiences. So going out to me, it still helps me to this day. You know, I'm fine with staying home alone. Obviously it's like my favorite activity, but I think that's really important. Number 9, don't look at old photos and videos. That to me is really hard, especially because Joey was like so prominent in my vlogs and I like rewatching vlogs. But at this time, I can't do that because it makes me upset. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch a relationship back. I kept photos on my phone, obviously, because I don't want to like delete him out of my life. He was a part of my life, but don't go through and like look at them and like watch videos because that's really difficult. It's hard. So please refrain from doing that. And if you need to, take all the photos and put them in like a photo tank. I think Sasha did that in her last relationship. Sorry, Sasha, if you didn't want people to know. Just using your life as an example. But she took all of her photos of her and ex and she just put it into a photo tank. So she still technically has them, but they're not like in her camera roll for her to see all the time. Or I think they have like protected folders now on iPhone. Number 10, my most controversial tip. Have a fling. I don't know if a therapist is going to tell you to do this, but I really do think it is easy to get over someone if you are having a fling and like having fun with someone else. I don't think you should date the person, but I think that having the fling kind of gives you hope that there is more out there. Open yourself up to new opportunities. And I feel like, you know, I don't know how to really explain this, but like you have the fling, and then when the fling ends, you've kind of like processed all your emotions of your relationship, and then you're kind of just like, oh, I didn't really care about that fling anyway. And that person can a lot of the time help you get over the other person. Again, I don't think you should jump into a relationship. I think everyone needs time to like find themselves again. But I think the fling, I don't know if the therapist is going to tell you to do that, but I have found that very helpful in the past. Again, every relationship is different. Every person is different. But in the past, I found having a fling really gets my mind off what I'm going through. And then usually when the fling ends, you're just like, all right, well, cool. Like I know how to be myself again, because usually a fling, you're not like hanging out with them every day or anything. You're just kind of like texting and like seeing each other sometimes. But like you learn how to rebuild your life with still getting some like, I don't know, some like fun validation from someone else. And may not be the healthiest thing in the world, but let me tell you, it's definitely helped me in the past. Those are my tips. Again, I want to thank you guys. You guys have been so incredible and so supportive during this time. This is my new apartment. This is my mattress on the ground. But I will definitely show you. I am vlogging this week, so my apartment will be in my vlog. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that if you are going through a breakup, you're okay, and feel free to follow me on Instagram, message me. It sucks. Breakups suck. It's like one of the shittiest things we have to go through. So yeah, love you all. Peace and love.